Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And 35 years to the day that Pee-wee's Big Adventure premiered in theaters, we are here to talk about it and discuss it and analyze it because it is Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It's the story of a rebel and his bike. Dragon, I'm going to have some fun with this, all right? You know what today's secret word is?
What?
Today's secret word is bike.
Bike!
So whenever we say the word bike, we get a little bell.
Yep.
All right? Let's try it one more time just for clarity. Why don't you say it?
The story of a rebel and his bike.
All right. Let's see how annoying that gets.
Well, we know Hector Salamanca's going to love this episode. All right.
All right, so Dragon, I am just to get into like the background nostalgia of it all. I was honestly kind of hesitant to go back to this one, not because I didn't have good memories of it, but just because I was worried, like, oh man, it's Tim Burton's first movie. It's going to be really rough around the edges, and I got to tell you, man, just from a thesis point of view, how I feel about it, this movie holds up super well. I mean, it does, man. It's you kind of just go along with the reality of the film, and it's just delightfully innocent, delightfully quirky. It's got kind of the makings of early Burton, but it's not quite there in the in the crazy kind of like acid trip world of Tim Burton that you would later kind of dwelled into. But it's Tim Burton with a heart, and it's Tim Burton being funny, and I really appreciate that. And of course, we see Paul Reubens at the height of his powers. I mean, my God, what a consummate performer. And that's going to wrap around to my nostalgia, Dragon, because I was a Pee Wee Herman fan way before I actually watched this movie, believe it or not. I was casually into Pee Wee's Playhouse when I was a kid, but you know what got me really into Pee Wee's Playhouse, Dragon?
What?
It was when Adult Swim had that weird time when they would re-air Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Oh, I remember episodes. I remember that.
And I got to tell you, Dragon, that was one of Adult Swim's like unsung strokes of genius, because I feel like that got a whole generation of people, myself included, into Pee Wee Herman. I remember my dad and I watching that, and just we could not stop laughing at Cowboy Curtis every time he popped up. What there, boy? Good old
the great Lawrence Fishburne kids.
So, Dragon, I have such a love and appreciation for Pee Wee Herman as a character. I feel like he's just a very fascinating kind of pop culture icon, if you will. And I will admit, looking at it, I'm pleasantly surprised to find that this is indeed the blue meth Pee Wee Herman that I was kind of hoping for, man. This movie has very few flaws in it. It's definitely kind of like the blueprint of a road trip movie, but it does it well, man, and it doesn't fall into any pitfalls. It's paced fantastically. It's got 3 really defined acts. It's got a lot of memorable stops along the way and side characters, and it's just a really, really solid movie, Dragon.
All right. Okay, my thesis. All right, so I tell you, the more we look back on these nostalgic classics as they reach these staggering milestones, it occurs to me most of them have something in common. Like the true greats, when you really think about it, the true greats, they take a character, they separate them from the familiar settings, the settings we kind of come to know them best by, and we kind of take away the safety net that way, and these characters, they embark on a journey into our world in a sense, as if they're on an odyssey, the ultimate test to measure the merits of these beloved characters, like like your Kermit the Frogs, your Big Birds, your Goofies.
Yeah,
in this case, your Pee Wee Hermans. And in the end, again, if they can prove themselves, if they can really kind of stand the test of the road movie, stand the test of the adventure, in the end, the reward is it's sort of an eternal life on celluloid for generations to enjoy and experience, and in Pee Wee's case, 35 years later. That's kind of the experience you come out of the movie with. I mean, it is just such a good time. It's so
So
well
this
paced.
and Follow That Bird were released within the same couple weeks of each other. That was a good like August run in theaters, Dragon. I'm jealous of that run.
Absolutely. And in regards to my nostalgia for Pee Wee Herman in general, it's like here's the thing: I never truly got into Pee Wee's Playhouse at the time, but I've always appreciated the films a great deal, especially
I've still never seen Big Top Pee Wee. I need to check that
I
out. I
have
know it's
seen
on
Big Top.
Hulu.
It's inferior to this, as you can probably
Oh, I
guess, but
assume.
it has its redeeming values. It has its moments.
All
But
right.
the point being, though, it's like here's the thing. For me, I appreciate the films a great deal, especially years later. I mean, years later is when I had a true appreciation for it because basically, it's like whenever you hear about Tim Burton or like you watch any of the Batman documentaries and they cover kind of Tim Burton's work or like a Tim Burton biography or something, it's like okay, Pee Wee's the footnote. Like we don't spend a
This
lot of
gets
time
skipped
talking
over
about
a lot. Yeah, I'm
it.
glad you bring
Does.
that up.
So
Yeah.
as a kid, I was kind of in the camp of, oh yeah, and then Tim Burton started with this, but then he went on to do
Right,
this.
right.
But again, years later, I mean, especially after
It's almost kind of like a Wes Anderson bottle rocket, where it's like, yes, Wes Anderson's style was way more defined post bottle rocket, but that doesn't make bottle rocket a footnote. Bottle rocket was integral. And
exactly, it's less footnote. It is so much more. It's a
yeah,
film
yeah.
that. Here's the thing: when you really think about this movie, this is a film that shaped two men's destinies in a big fundamental way, along with uh, fundamental way, both Burton and Paul Reubens, which I'm going to get to when we get to the background segment, but I'm going to put a pin in that. But this thing, like, along with Big Holiday, because you and me, especially myself, I
We have a
love
big
Pee-wee's
love for
Big
Big
Holiday.
Holiday. Not enough people watched Big Holiday. It's a
That's what
shame.
I'm saying. So I feel Big Holiday and this, Big Adventure, the two two back to back. You can see like there's a big runner within all the Pee Wee Herman movie titles: Big Top, Big Holiday, Big Adventure. I think the movies kind of best showcase what I liked about Pee Wee Herman, and that he is just kind of this happy-go-lucky Peter Pan-like character, very much the blueprint
I've
for
always
character.
equated him as like the blueprint for SpongeBob.
Well, that was literally my next point, but yes, you're
Oh, I'm
right.
sorry. I'm terribly
No,
sorry.
you're right. You're exactly same destination. Yes,
Yeah.
he's absolutely the blueprint towards SpongeBob. We've actually seen SpongeBob recycle a lot of, and again, lovingly recycle a lot of gags
Mostly in
from
the
this
movie.
movie,
Yeah.
especially the movie, which again, yet another road movie and a beloved road movie.
Exactly.
So again, I'm saying Pee Wee, in many respects, to your earlier point, roadmap and blueprint for the road movies.
Yeah, totally.
And that's the thing, I've always preferred Pee Wee in contrast to people because that really makes him pop versus kind of nothing against this, but you kind of have the pure insanity of Pee Wee's
Pee
Playhouse,
Wee's
which
Playhouse, you're not wrong at all, because Pee Wee's Playhouse, it's just like, it's him bouncing off of other just crazy people. And that
exactly
can get a little draining.
precisely. But I mean, like also like just I don't get me wrong, I like Cherry and Zombie as much as the next guy, but it's just it's, sometimes it's kind of funnier by contrast, and it's. Yeah, it's like that reactionary quality really made Pee Wee all the more endearing and funny when you kind of saw the effect it kind of had that melting charm on people where they fell in love with the guy as we the
Like the Joe
audience did.
Magnelio factor.
Precisely, exactly.
Yeah.
And honestly, at the end of the day, when you really think about Pee Wee Herman and his origin points and everything, is that he's really the more accessible Andy Kaufman because he starts off like the foreign man character. He was just like an act he did, and it is like the character came to life, but there wasn't any like divisiveness. He wasn't like a Tony Clifton. He was like, man, everybody likes Pee Wee Herman. Like he took off.
Well, there was a little bit of divisiveness, but it was
Well,
rather
yeah,
unfounded.
that's what I'm saying. Anyway,
All right.
okay. Point being, that's my nostalgia.
Okay, and of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Captain Rex, another huge part of our childhoods.
Absolutely. Again, another Paul. Again, Paul Reubens, he keeps popping up in things because, of course,
He
he's
does.
Batmite. Another big tie I had to him is he brought Batmite to life in a way that counted, not just like the wacky little fifth dimensional imp that bothers Batman. Like, no, it's Paul Reubens is Batmite, which is awesome. Because Captain Rex definitely the perennial one before
Oh, yeah.
all of that. All right.
I know this is probably your first flight, and it's mine too.
Yeah.
That haha is like a prototypical Pee Wee laugh. All right. Okay, so background Dragon. Let's not get this too long, but what do you got?
Okay, just the important stuff. Don't worry.
Okay. Just
So
the important
Paul,
stuff.
so Paul Reubens, he doesn't get the origin of Pee Wee Herman is that he was Paul Reubens trying to make his mark. He kind of went on this 10-year journey of kind of trying to make it in Hollywood. He He didn't make the cut for SNL. The audition for SNL didn't happen for him. So he ended up at Groundlings, which is kind of like where the comedians kind of work on themselves, and they kind of like the sketch comedy group, the famous sketch comedy stuff.
Yeah.
And they kind of had this exercise where they were kind of trying like the worst stand-up ever. Again, kind of a la, Andy Kaufman's, sort of, The Foreign Man, which eventually became Lotka, that sort of thing. That's kind of how it went, where he was developing characters and Pee-wee stuck. And the amazing thing I kind of forgot about, I think you and I kind of forgot about, and doing my research here, is that Pee-wee stuck in such a fundamental way. Playhouse did not predate this movie.
No, I always knew that, but yeah, you're right.
Right. So yeah, the point is, Pee-wee gets like a stage show, which kind of makes HBO. He's doing a bunch of talk shows and everything. Point being, Pee-wee was an icon way before he got a show and everything. Absolutely. He was planning a show, but he never got the carte blanche to make the show, and this was the opportunity. It became such like kind of he was going on. Paul Reubens didn't exist. Pee-wee Herman existed in the public eye.
Yeah.
And so the Warner Brothers, they strike a deal with him to do a feature to capitalize on all the fame and buzz, which again is something that happens so often now in Hollywood, like viral videos and everything. And it's like such a novel thing. It's back when it really took elbow grease, kids. And basically offer him a chance to write and star in the film. And he gets his groundling buddies on it, which includes the great Phil Hartman, by the way. Phil Hartman of course ended up on the show. Michael Varhol. The point is they pound out a draft. They actually buy a screenplay book. A book on how to write a screenplay. It's the first time they've ever done it, and that's why the film has such a tight 3-act structure.
That makes sense. They
followed the rules, man, and by God, did it pay. Sometimes, folks, all it takes is the dummy's guide. You need it.
I keep citing this, but you know what? It was good teaching on my film teacher's part. He used E.T. to teach me the 3-act structure, and that is like a damn good blueprint for the 3-act
It is.
structure. You
can't beat it.
You can't.
So Paul Reubens, basically, there's a huge moment that shapes the course of the entire film. So Paul Reubens, he's kind of working on some drafts there, and he's on the Warner Brothers line. And he kind of notices like, oh my God, look at all these. Everyone has a bike. Why don't I get a bike? And of course, they kind of like it's the lightning rod for the movie. Like, oh God, yes. Of course, he gets a bike, and then he realizes, okay, it's dawning on me that's the movie I want to make, because he's always been talking about that Pollyanna thing, where basically it's Pee-wee as a Western. He kind of goes to a small town, changes everybody's lives, that sort of thing. So anyway, so he sends him a bunch of directors. Warner Brothers, they choose one director, not remotely what he chose. So he basically he risks it all. He puts the ultimate gamble to ask for a different director, and they say, okay, you got a week to find a director. I want you to this project. This is like 10 years in the making, man. He risks throwing it all away, but he basically goes to a party one night. He hears about Tim Burton, who at this point, this is him fresh out of Cal Arts. This is Tim Burton with 2 films that Disney funded under his name. One of them never really truly released. You have Vincent, and you have Frankenweenie. Frankenweenie's the big one. The live-action version of Frankenweenie, not the animated one years later. So, point being, Paul Reubens, he loved it. Everyone's saying, oh my God, he'd be perfect for you, and your style and your humor and everything. All his friends in the Groundlings days and everything. Shelley Duvall, he was in that. Anyway, point being, they'll recommend him. This is Tim Burton's first feature. He's very green around the gills, but he's very excited. He's not afraid of anything because he doesn't know. This is before he gets all the dread of putting a man in a bat suit and all that sort of stuff. Right. So yeah, basically he just loved the idea he can do so many genres within a film. He gets Danny Elfman. This is Danny Elfman's his big splash as well.
Iconic score, dude. Freaking iconic.
Remember, and Danny Elfman at this point, he's fresh out of Oingo Boingo. Tim Burton went to an Oingo Boingo concert and he loved him, and I guess he pitched him the movie, and he got him in on it. And
I'm not too into Oingo Boingo as a band, but I can definitely see the Tim Burton vibes in it.
I can absolutely see Tim Burton going to an Oingo Boingo concert without.
Absolutely, yeah.
The last important note here is, as you can kind of tell in certain places, and not to the film's detriment, but if you really look at it with a fine-tooth comb, especially the opening dream sequence with the Tour de France, there was a low budget. and basically this kind of led to an ingenious, again, work with what you have, lemons and lemonade sort of Hollywood situation here. Tim Burton knew that I got a low budget here. I can't really pack it with the crowds in certain shots. And I can't really, I'm gonna have to have a disappearing background against a falling car now and again. What I got to do is I got to sell the conviction of the performances and find the reality within the absurdity. If I can kind of sell the audience on what's happening, I can circumvent some drawbacks with the budget, which turned out well. And 35 years later, works so well. We're talking about it. There we go.
All right, Dragon. So let's just kind of break down the film, like you said. We're going to do it like act by act. We're going to hypothetically follow that same book that they used. All right, so Act 1, we start with an iconic. Well, first of all, we have the Tour de France scene, which, as you mentioned, very low budget, but fun way to start things off. Gets things moving in terms of the bike plot. And then, of course, we have the breakfast machine, Dragon, the Rune Goldberg machine. This movie's got a lot of iconic stuff in it. I think Large Marge may be the most iconic thing in it, but the Rune Goldberg machine is definitely up there in terms of iconic imagery, and we get it right off the bat.
It's the perfect note coming out of a dream sequence. Where, okay, Pee-wee's waking up, he's starting his day. Again, we see just Paul Reubens kind of like doing his stuff, kind of feeling the room. I love the rabbit slippers gag, by the way. I've always loved it. The physicality of him, like sniffing the carrot with the rabbit slippers. It's adorable. And that's the thing, guys. Basically, we set the perfect tone with this breakfast machine, which, by the way, the visuals, again, the biggest thing Tim Burton brought to the project was the visualization, which he had done in like things like his Cal Arts days. So really, he brought kind of an animation perspective. I'm not trying to box him in there. I'm just saying, again, it's way really broadened the visualization and shots like this.
Look at the movies he worked on for Disney even before his live action stuff. He worked on
Fox and the Hound,
Black Cauldron. I believe those were the main two, right?
Yeah, those are the main two. Yeah, I don't know how.
Fox and the Hound and Black Cauldron are arguably two of the darkest tone Disney movies ever for very different reasons. Fox and the Hound thematically, and then Black Cauldron in terms of imagery.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I love basically kind of bringing kind of a live action cartoon element to Pee Wee Herman, which is a marriage made in heaven. Which again, I love I love the interior of his house. I love everything from the little Mr. Potato Head to the fire pole. Basically, what they do is they raided every thrift store in town.
Dragon, to me, it's fascinating to watch this movie from the perspective of like the set design, especially the interior sets, are basically a blueprint for Playhouse.
They are
a very low budget blueprint for what he wanted to do with Playhouse.
Here's a controversial opinion, though. I'll tell you this: I kind of prefer the grounded. I kind of do too.
I go both ways on it. I mean, Playhouse is just sheer unbridled character and personality and imagination. So I don't know. I think both of them are great.
They are. I just really like kind of that grounded yet whimsical element that kind of struck here. It's just really good set design. So, anyway, so of course this Rube Goldberg in breakfast machine is just perfect. All of this just to make you kind of a Mr. Breakfast, which is this pancake-faced pancake with a face, and this always cracked me. He just pours a whole bunch of Mr. T cereal. I pity the fool who doesn't like my cereal.
Oh yeah, God.
But it always cracks me up how he just pours all of it after all of that effort to make breakfast. He just pours a bunch of cereal on. He eats like a few, like two or three forkfuls. Not even a spoonful, like a forkful.
Right.
Just dabs his mouth off. He butters the toast he doesn't even eat, and he's off. It's perfect. It sets the tone. Like, yeah, this kind of guy, he's all about, he'll go the extra mile, but
it's all about like presentation before practicality.
Absolutely. And also we see like his adorable little, you have Speck, the tiny little dog.
Oh my God, I forgot about Speck until I rewatched the movie.
There's a really great gag I missed out. I mean, at least I forgot about it. It's been a while since I've watched this one, but there's this great gag. When he gets ready for the morning and everything, puts a suit on, he weighs himself, and he like does the duct tape thing, does like the scotch tape thing. He has like one of those fortune telling weight machines, and a little fortune pops out and it says, "Don't leave the house today," which, given what happens in the movie,
right,
pretty funny. So speaking of that, we're out in the world. We're men about town.
And Dragon, I gotta ask, what method of transportation does Pee Wee use to get about town?
After finding an awesome secret entrance, that was Tim Burton's idea, by the way, he rides his bike!
All right. And Dragon, he meets up with Francis the bully, and what does Francis want?
His bike. For his birthday.
All right. So Francis, let's talk about Francis, dude. Oh my God, this I forgot just how completely over the top this character is. This character
Francis has one of my
ridiculous.
favorite bits in the whole movie, which we're gonna get to.
Is it the bathtub bit?
Yeah, I love the bathtub.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll get there soon. Yeah.
But yeah, Mark Holton plays Francis here, and it's fun. You know what's funny? Just serendipity here for you. He actually plays an evil clown in a movie. He plays John. He played John Wayne Gacy in a TV movie.
Nice.
Years later, so yet again, the clown theme within this movie presents itself yet again. But yeah, he's great, Mark. I love that we gave Pee-wee a childish antagonist that just he reminds me so much
childish, like it's childish in the opposite way that Pee-wee is. You know, it's like it's a playground bully, but also like a total man-child.
Like we've given Pee-wee a raconteur to do the whole "I know you were, but what am I?" Which is great. I mean, he's very much like I know you're not overly familiar with this, but like, he's like Stinky from the Abbott and Costello show. He's like like Joe Besser. He's just kind of like basically giant kid in a sailor suit. Only we took away the sailor suit. It's just. But yeah, point being, so importantly, Francis presents himself and he's eyeing the bike, which is going to come back. And one of my
I also feel like Butch the Bully from Cool Cat Saves the Kids is maybe a little bit inspired by Francis.
I would be shocked if that is not the case.
All right. Anyways.
Okay, yes. So the stolen bike plot.
Yes, the stolen bike. Okay, so man. Oh.
There we go.
Thank you.
Okay. So,
man, I fucking love how personal Pee-wee takes this and how it almost like Act 1 almost kind of devolves into a psychological horror movie by the end of it. And that right there is the Tim Burton touch that I love.
Speaking of the Burton touches, to highlight just kind of the build up to the thing for a second.
I mean, here's the thing, Dragon. There's two psychological breaks. There's the one you're thinking of, but then there's another one which it's not as intense, but I feel like it's just as crazy. So we'll get there.
We will. So I love in the build-up here, like we have the magic shop, we have like some shenanigans, and SpongeBob definitely took a page from.
Oh my God, dude! The magic shop owner. I love how he's like the magic shop owner is like trying so hard, like, oh, I've got all these tricks, and Pete was just like, nah, seen it, boring.
Yep. Fake blood or real blood? Ew. Of course, I love the boomerang boat. I had to cut that for time into the budget because there's supposed to be a payoff to the boomerang boat.
Oh God!
But I love the lighting's very Burton-esque too. I love how he lit kind of the magic shop as if it's just great.
You know what it reminds me of? Actually, it reminds me of the mask shop from The Haunted Mask.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's that's a good comparison. Yeah,
especially with like the secret back room and everything.
All right, now we go to Chuck's Bike-O-Rama. Yeah, we got to talk about
this. Isn't gonna get old at all.
It's not like it's a central part of the movie or anything.
Well, that was kind of the point.
Okay, we got to talk about the incomparable E.G. Daily.
E.G. Daily, yeah, one of her few live action roles, if I'm recalling correctly, right?
As far as I'm concerned, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, then she has a band, so I guess that's kind of, but again, not really featured, but yeah. Yes, so E.G. Daily just absolutely wonderful as Dottie. She's so sweet, and I love this sweet and childish kind of courtship between her and Pee-wee, where it's like she just wants him to take her to the drive-in. That's all she wants.
That's just a simple goal. That's like one step removed from "I want to hold your hand."
Exactly. Yeah. And of course, like Pee-wee gives like the silly rebel thing, gives her like the brush off, like, Dottie, there are things about me you'd never understand. I'm a rebel.
You couldn't understand, that you wouldn't understand, that you shouldn't understand.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. So then, of course, the theft itself. So over the top, so dramatic. I love just the uberly chained bike. He's chained it up to the clown. It's like couldn't be safer than just seeing all those chains come out of that. I love how his vehicle of choice has these compartments.
Yeah.
Anyway, so of course I love how we just the friendly clown waving and then turns menacing. We have like the teeth and like the scary painting, everything. So the clown theme seems to be the circus world, of which Paul Rubens he always kind of loved. That also Pee Wee kind of flourishes in. It kind of turns cynical once the world gets turned upside down. Once he enters the cynical world of people are out, are going to steal your stuff like your bikes.
Oh boy. All right, so it just instantly the movie instantly goes into like Cape Fear mode, dude.
That it does. Like basically, Pee Wee alienates his friends and everything. But I guess before that happens, we have speaking of the Cape Fear, we have my favorite scene. We got to talk.
Oh my god, the bathtub scene, just freaking legendary.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing I love, especially on the rewatch. It's so perfect. I love the cut. I love how the scene starts. Okay, so he goes to the police station to fill out a report, and of course they can't do much. And she's, well, why don't you try retracing your steps? And of course, like Francis, and he runs out of the place, and then we just cut from him running to him showing up at the Buxton Mansion. I love it. It's a perfect cut. He ran from one scene to another. It's great.
And I'm glad you're bringing this up because I think the pacing in this movie is absolutely freaking on point, and that's one of the things that I really noticed rewatching it.
Yes. So, yeah, this is a great idea to give. I guess I already mentioned that again. I love this. We've queued things up with Francis so perfectly, and then the Pee Wee shows up, but he means business this time. I love the pool. I love this pool-sized bathtub as a set piece. It looks great.
It's a wonderful set piece. It almost feels like a Stanley Kubrick scene or something.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, Francis, he's playing Godzilla with like boats and stuff, and little army man, he's like spitting them out and everything. Of course, we have this over-the-top, absurd, yet very intimidating Pee Wee. Basically, I love how intimidating Pee Wee comes across to Francis. Like these two guys, they're playing this ridiculously absurd scene, but they're playing it straight. In a sense, like they're playing it over the top, but Francis is genuinely intimidated by Pee Wee, and that's coming across. I gotta tell you, I would, in my heart of hearts, I really would hope that in the writing of the Deadpool script, they were thinking of this with the whole Francis thing. And like,
oh no! Oh god!
Deadpool's going after Francis. I'm just saying, in part at least, just the joy at which he comes in. Francis. Oh, anyway, boy. But yeah, the slapstick comedy is it's great. Where I love my favorite part of the movie is when you see Pee Wee's legs just like enter the pool as Francis screaming under the water. It's so great, and he just then pulls him up. So intimidating. I'm starting to lose my patience with you, Francis. Where's my bike? I don't want that little thing. I don't even want it. You don't want it because you already have it. And of course, you can see Francis. He's caught. He knows he's caught. He's just screaming for help. And then this is where he gets ridiculous. Pee Wee just runs to the door. I don't even think he locks. He just runs to the door. He just scream all you want. No one's got you're miles from anywhere. Anyone can hear you. It's just so. He just jumps and they're wrestling in the water, and then of course, the giant butler, like manservant, just kind of shows up. He basically barrels into the door and just into the pool, and then it's Mr. Bucks. Oh my God, Mr. Buxton's so funny. He's being the responsible adult and Pee Wee like a bad little boy. He's trying to run out the window. He's like, Pee Wee, what is the meaning of all this? And basically explains like, do you have any proof? Well, no. And it's that thing. Pee Wee doesn't have any proof. And you think, poor scamp. He doesn't have any proof. And he basically doesn't want to get in trouble, so he's playing the sympathy card. Like, it was just a simple mistake, Mr. Bucks. And they're shaking hands and making nice. Would you like some gum? And of course, we set up the trick gum at the magic shop.
Oh yeah.
It's wonderful. Love it.
All right, good stuff.
That brings that Act 2.
So then we get. Oh boy, it's time to do some hitchhiking dragon.
Yes. So what brings about all this?
I really like the just the hitchhiking montage in itself, like when he gets out the giant thumb from his suitcase and stuff like that.
God. Yeah,
can I just speak to the dragon? I want to speak really quickly to the simplicity of the road trip in this movie. Yeah. I love how we don't necessarily have that big of a destination. We have the Alamo,
basement of the Alamo,
but we don't know how far he's traveling from, and it doesn't matter. like Pee-wee could be from anywhere USA, you know what I mean? And I feel like, I don't know, Dragon, I feel like there's something charmingly like really simple, and you get what I'm saying, just the fact that like he could be from anywhere and it doesn't really matter the amount of distance that's actually being traveled in this road trip. Like we don't get hung up on the details of it.
Certainly, and also I love he's kind of set up to fail in a sense. And again, you the audience, like you're attached to the whimsy of, well, maybe he will find the bike there. Where it's like there should be no logical way on Earth, and we kind of address this. Yeah, he's not going to find it in the Alamo. There's no reason, because again, we saw Madame Ruby. He went to a fortune teller as Lopley. He was alienated his search party because he's been getting crazy about finding his bike.
Oh, by the way, that's the other moment where he's just absolutely acting psychotic.
Exactly.
Like more low-key psychotic, but still.
It was nuts. He turns, then he's basically in the rain and everything. He turns to the fortune teller, who steals his wallet, by the way, which is why he doesn't have it later. I love we cover all of our bases here.
What? That's the due to that's the sign of a well-written screenplay right there.
Precisely. Anyway, so of course she's making it up as she goes, like she's like bargain basement sale, and she just sees like sign for the Alamo, and just like, the Alamo in the basement of the Alamo. Says, oh, thank you. So of course we hitchhike via a rubber thumb. Of course, who picks him up? Escape convict Mickey, the escape convict.
Oh God, Mickey is wonderful.
Yes, he is. I love
how he's like the rebel that Pee-wee fancies himself being.
Yes, which again, I love. It gives him a reality check for how he's been treating Dottie, which again, the kid's learning along the way. But that's like my favorite element of Pee-wee Herman, and with road movies in general, but especially with Pee-wee Herman, is I love Pee-wee meeting people and befriending them.
Absolutely.
That's the hallmark of Pee-wee Herman for me. So of course, after he basically almost gets him killed, but to be fair, those road signs were really confusing in the dead of night. Okay, they were all over the place. So after they narrowly escape, he then gives him the rebel guy deja vu, where he's getting the reality check. Oh man, maybe I shouldn't have brushed Dottie off the rebel thing.
Yeah.
He's found by a large Marge who takes pity on him.
Oh boy! All right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the birth of the Tim Burton style right here, Dragon. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. At the very least,
this is the genesis. Yeah.
Genesis of it in a feature, absolutely.
Oh man, everything about this scene just plays out so well. The way that it kind of like slowly builds, and she gets more and more intense as she's telling the story. And of course, just the jump scare in itself. What I love about the jump scare is it's not that intense of a jump scare that, like people who are squeamish to jump scares can't watch it. But it'll get you, it'll get you. It's kind of like a Haunted Mansion jump scare. You know what I mean? It's like you're ready for it, you're prepared for it, but it's still, it'll still kind of give you a little like, woo,
And of course, this ghostly trucker is just gonna, give, tell the tale of her own death, presumably, and it's like,
it's iconic stuff.
And yet again, this is Burton again, knowing he doesn't have a whole lot in the movie. Where again, if it's just he's got to sell the conviction. Her conviction is what sells that scene, sells the terror. It's not the the spectacle is the jump scare, but the build up and the tension is what is the conviction.
I mean, I would say that, and just I love how it keeps going. I love how we still kind of get in that Large Marge atmosphere after he goes into the trucker bar.
Tell him, Large Marge sent you, and of course, like Large Marge sent me. And they're all gobsmacked. That's impossible, Large. She never came. Like she died. And we reveal like the little placard, Large Marge, like from this date to that date. Like, oh god. But yeah, it's also something we speak to because we don't really have another place to talk about it while we're on the Large Marge kind of topic.
Sure.
The nightmare sequences. We guys know with the nightmare.
Oh, holy shit! The nightmare sequences. I mean, I don't think they're as inventive as the ones in Pee-wee's Big Holiday, but I mean, they're definitely like up there. And again, Dragon, kind of the genesis of Tim Burton's style. Tim Burton would like use nightmare sequences time and time and time again, and this is the first one, and it's really effective.
And yet again, another reason I love
the clowns, the hospital imagery, just the idea of the bike being dissected.
Yeah, another reason I love Big Holiday is the fact that again, it follows the playbook of Big Adventure, but kind of as a loving tribute. But it goes different ways with certain things. Where again, we have like the birthday celebration, Runner with the Dreams, where it is separated, but again, there's like a running through line. And here, there's a running through line where we see the progression of the dream. Where oh god, he's found the bike, but initially he's lost and he's He's finding it, and then you have the dinosaur eating it, the stop motion dinosaur eating it. And again, I love the dream logic that's applied. If you look at the psychology, look at the dream logic here. It's that he's lost without his bike. No bell. There we go.
Sorry.
So he's lost without it, and then of course, as it gets attacked by a dinosaur, and then of course is dismembered and horrifically messed with by clowns. I love how horrific Pee-wee's react to the clown. It's like how do you make a clown scare? Make him a clown doctor dissecting something you love.
Brave little toaster.
Yeah, you're okay. You're right. Okay, fair enough.
No. I'm just saying, they're cut from the same cloth. I'm not saying either one of them they came out around the same time. So, by all means, Tim Burton and the Brave Little Toaster guys were probably taking notes from each other on that shit.
Certainly, but that's what I'm saying. I like that we take the last instant of terror in that point in the movie with Andy, the giant guy in the red, the giant guy in the red who chases him around. That is kind of the sense of danger, and of course around the dinosaurs, which is where the dinos come from, because they're in that dinosaur.
Another iconic set piece from the movie. I love it.
Absolutely, and and of course the clown from earlier again reappears at that point. So again, I love how it's a snowballing effect of terror, which is it plays wonderfully again to accentuate Pee-wee's low of lows, which is just fantastic. And all of this with large margin and everything. I like that we do have a more of highlighting the dangers and the riskiness of it.
Right, for sure.
Convicts and Ghost, and then I love how Pee-wee stopped him from shooting up people. Or it's just let's do this guy pretend to be a married couple. It'll work, and it does. All right. So another landmark thing with the movie, Simone.
Oh my God, Dragon Simone easily holds up more as an adult than she did as a kid. Did you get that? I related to her plight a lot as an adult, just kind of being stuck in a day-to-day grind and wanting to get out, but needing the push to do it. I don't know, man. It resonated with me.
What really resonated with me on the rewatch is, again, I really like going to the movie knowing, the 35-year mark here, we kind of really know the significance of this film, and I love how you can kind of I love how the advice to Simone, you can't wish and hope for something to come true. You have to make it happen. It really boils down, Paul Reubens and Tim Burton's ambition to get this film. The paths that brought him to Reubens' 10-year path to get this movie made, and Tim Burton's trying to make his mark after kind of his years in Cal Arts and everything, kind of making his big move as director. Again, they had to go after these things to make them happen. I love how that he's kind of embodied within that. Again, I love how it's a nice and quiet scene with Simone. I love it just they're literally watching the sunrise. I love
that's really nice. Yeah,
as well paced because the movie's so well paced, we have breathing room in a moment like that. We can kind of slow down, calm down.
Absolutely.
And also, the sunrise is kind of a great symbol. We kind of went to a really dark and scary scene, which is a little indicative of Tim Burton, to the sunny kind of sunrise that is Paul Reubens. And again, yet another intertwining of the two.
Mm.
So yeah, we still have the roadside attraction element. Man, go.
The roadside attraction element of the dinosaurs?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, there's not a ton to say, but did you know that there's I think it's a Scientology museum is there right now?
Really?
Or something like that. Some sort of it's either Scientology or some weird offshoot of Christianity. And yeah, I don't know. It's it's not as cool as it sounds, but the dinosaurs themselves are absolutely iconic. This movie made them iconic. People go to these dinosaurs all the time with their Pee-wee action figures and stuff to take pictures. I mean, what more do you want me to say, dude? It's it's a wonderful set piece.
Yeah, especially I love how it looks at night when they have the lights. That's what looks truly amazing. And also, I think we've technically seen these in Inside Out too.
I think so. You're right. Yeah, at least based on the same designs.
Yeah. I think it's basically an adaptation of that location. Or
exactly.
Cabazon. I think it's the dinosaur roadside attraction in Cabazon.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Anyway, yes. So I mean, Diane Salinger, who, by the way, in Batman Returns, the parents of the Penguin, Paul Reubens and Diane Salinger.
Oh, there you go.
Just saying. And I know we didn't see her in Gotham because it's so trippy. Paul Rubens got to play the Penguin's father
I
twice.
know that's still a head trip.
And he was so good in Gotham.
He was.
And that's thing. We didn't see like the birth mother. Oh, whack! Not him feel stupid. No, we did see the birth mother. Never mind. The point. Forget my point. The point being, Paul Rubens is fantastic. Anyway.
All right.
So So point being, Simone, such a wonderful role for her, and again, the conviction within performance really brought the heart out in that scene of that ambitions, of that relatability you were speaking to. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And again, just kindness among strangers. That they both, and ultimately the whole thing with Simone, when they, the whole au revoir Pee-wee of it all. Au revoir Pee-wee. I love that they both picked each other up from their low points.
Sure.
To help
Absolutely.
make their dreams come true, and both their dreams did come true. And I thought that was so nice with the Simone thing.
Yeah.
Also, we have comment action.
Oh, we do. Okay.
Trevor Anderson. He's asking, "What's up, boys?" And
Trevor Anderson. Trevor, what is up? Oh, Dragon. Trevor goes way back. Oh man, how you doing, Trevor? I haven't seen you in a long time, buddy. I actually noticed that you deleted your Facebook, and I was kind of bummed that I had no way to contact you. So it's great to see you, Trevor. Let's see. Miscellaneous says creationist. That's what it is. And also same dinosaurs from the end of the Wizard. Yeah, thank you, Monkey. Thank you. All right. Anyways.
All right. Okay. So the Alamo.
Remember the Alamo. Oh God, just all the Texas jabs in this movie are freaking like Mel Brooks level of parody, Dragon. They really are. They're fantastic.
I love that we went all this way. Of all the locations they could have picked for Pee-wee to go to, it feels like and this is wonderful. They did it all for the Remember the Alamo gag, and I love it.
Yeah. Oh God.
When you really think about it, they did all of this just to get to the. And again, I love that you're afraid from it. Oh God, we're gonna go on a Muppets, take Manhattan like amnesia plot line. Where no, we're just gonna go for. And what do you remember? I remember the Alamo. It's like that's what you mean.
And of course, the stars at night are big and bright.
Yep.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
See, I told you.
Yeah.
Classic stuff. All right.
Yes. So
the Alamo thing, what I kind of love about the Alamo thing, too, is I feel like, is it just me, or did they intentionally film the Alamo to be as boring as possible?
I think it's absolutely intentional. And of course, we do the homages with the snake thing in Big Holiday. But here though, I love how it's just droning. Is like we spent all, and I think it's such a brilliant build up to this joke, to this punchline. Like there's nothing here. We went here for nothing.
Right.
It's like he's just waiting there. Like okay, let me add like Jan Hooks is doing her thing here. I just want to ask where my bike is. And of course, just to find out in the most traumatizing way possible for your young at heart character, the base. There's no basement at the Alamo, and of course, I love how they accentuate the humiliation here for asking a dumb question at the end of the tour, like they're taking pictures.
Tour guide, I love how the tour guide is just like she's so professional, like up until the end, and then she just cracks.
Yep. Just laugh. And again, I love too, like, remember we had like there was a fight again, as most road movies tend to have, and they should. There was a look behind you. There was like a group audience, like a Five Goes West moment of unbeknownst to Pee-wee along this journey when he's with Mickey earlier, the bike was right there. If he just turned his head, right?
Right.
All right.
Also, Trevor, you'd be happy to know that we're currently on season 18 of So You Want to Be an Imagineer. I know, right? Can you believe it? So You Want to Be an Imagineer is old enough to buy cigarettes. It's trippy. But season 18, Trevor, all I can say is resounding success. Like the game is going on stronger than it ever has. So yeah, we're still going strong with that. And yeah, happy to hear from you too, buddy. All right, anyways.
All right, on to Act 3, which I feel is honestly possibly the strongest act in the whole movie. I mean, Act 3 is...
And this is something that Jay and Bob just took wholesale. Let's face it.
Again,
like Jay and Bob are just like, Yeah, we like the Pee-wee's Big Holiday. We're gonna do our own spin on it.
Big Adventure, yeah.
Oh, right. Big Adventure, yes.
Well, then again, there was a reboot, so maybe I don't know. But yes.
Oh God.
Okay, so let's start again. Basically, so many iconic set pieces are in Act 3, which is undeniably fantastic.
Uh-huh.
So let's start with probably, I think the most, possibly the most iconic part of the whole movie, possibly. I know Large Marge. I mean, look, I know
it's
Large
hard to
Marge,
argue with Large Marge.
I know, but again, I'm talking about like in terms of any, like you watch a VH1, they're always bringing up the biker bar. They're always bringing up
Sure, absolutely.
I think cultural, like the biker bar stuff. Well, anyway, they're talking about the biker bar scene, which I think is just. They just cracked the code so well on this, and like we cracked the code on where SpongeBob goes with this sort of thing, like the patented comedy of innocent character goes into a room full of tough guys. You know, the whole like, I say we let him go once he lands in hot water. This is like we build the blueprint for stuff like that for years later for characters like SpongeBob and any other kind of innocent walking into a bar of tough guys.
Oh, it's absolutely the blueprint for the SpongeBob scene for sure.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's just so wonderful. That's how iconic and wonderful this scene is. Because, by the way, most of these guys are real bikers.
Mm-hmm.
Only a few of them actors. I imagine the lead guys, and I know the lady's an actress, and I think the lead guy may or may not be an actor, but yeah. So yeah, it's God, I think it's Elvira. Elvira plays the plays the one who says, give me 5 minutes with him, then let me have him first. Yeah. Right. All right, so
Elvira, man, fucking class act. I'm so glad I saw her live on stage. Oh man, great show. Anyways,
okay, so anyway, so I just love it. It amuses me to no end that these mostly real bikers are charmed by Pee Wee Herman in platform shoes doing his break dance in quotes to Tequila.
Oh my God! Right.
It's like it's the landmark scene of the film. It's like the feel good part of the movie. Okay, and maybe the other ones are more traumatizing, like memorable, like it's the shock value. I don't know. The point being, this is like the big oh God, this is like we're having such a good time moment. Where it's just perfect. It perfectly sums up why Pee Wee works. You put him up against his polar opposites. Like bikers or Joe Manganiello, like the most unlikely of pairings, and Pee Wee is going to grow on him. He's going to grow on you. You're going to find something in common, and there's just this genius realization: bikers love their bikes, which is genius, and makes perfect sense why Pee Wee would be able to befriend these guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to overanalyze, you could say maybe there's a parable to skepticism, and ultimately Pee Wee won over the critics, being the idea here. Like the bikers, like, well, I don't know about this. Pee Wee's he's dumb and he's kid fodder and he's stuff, but nope, bikers love him too. The the critics loved this movie when it came out. Dude, everyone loved it. Uh-huh. Well, all but Gene Siskel. Gene Siskel, he's a stick in the mud. Anyway,
I mean, you're not wrong.
He had his moments. Anyway,
yeah.
Okay, so
it's weird because Gene Siskel was a stick in the mud and Roger Ebert was like too forgiving. It was a weird dynamic.
But again, that's I got him for. Can't argue with the results. Anyway,
all I'm saying is that I am a child who grew up with Ebert and Roper, so that's I give credit to Gene Siskel, but
it's so weird though, man, right? Because it just wasn't the same.
What, Ebert and Roper?
Ebert and Roper. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it wasn't the same as what they had.
I'm saying Ebert, like, to me, Roper was the most moderate of all the people that they had on that show, and that's why I actually like Roper a lot. But anyways, we're getting way off topic.
Okay,
here.
Point being, I love that we have some great subverted expectations in this scene. Of course, broadly with the biker thing in general, but also Pee Wee gets on a motorcycle thing. Okay, now he's going to be able to find the thing. Or just crashes through the sign, it just leads to it's like this great matchstick moment. Well, now what? Like, how's he gonna find the bike now?
Oh God! And Dragon, I got to tell you, when he sees it on TV, and I was watching it for for research on this, and I was just like, oh, there it is. I mean, it's not like I haven't seen this movie before. It's not like I don't know he gets his bike back, right? But
yep. I just love it's like yet another good call of okay, what are we gonna do now? Movie within a movie. Why
Yep.
not?
Yep,
It's like,
absolutely.
okay, like literally, we deliver the. How do we deliver the MacGuffin plot point within the movie? Well, which we do it within the movie. Okay, that works. So the Warner Brothers backline, absolutely inspiration for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh,
Maybe
no question, no
that's what I'm
question.
saying. At the very least, it's in the back of Kevin Smith's mind. How can it not be? So, of course, we have some Pee Wee's Playhouse's future alumni. We have Missy Vaughn, Lynn Marie Stewart, I think, and John Paragon. He is the voice of that. When switch the voice of the crew guy and the lady in the can outfit. Anyway.
Mhm.
So our protagonist, he steals his bike back, which
I love the way he steals it too.
That kid had it coming though. I love the golf cart and bike chase where we have like this whole fleet of them. And I just love like this moment. This crack. I completely forgot about this moment. They have to unplug the golf carts.
Oh yeah, right.
The WB logo on them, and also I love these little bits of destiny here. We have these I love these bits of destiny here. We have the blimp, the Warner Brothers blimp, and a Batmobile.
Oh my god.
Batmobile, a little bit of destiny calling out Tim Burton because the '60s Batmobile is in this movie. I'm just, and it's Warner Brothers. I'm just saying. So I love this sequence is so good. I love the nods to old Hollywood and also the future of Warner Brothers in certain respects. Again, outside of the Batmobile, but all you have, Godzilla, which of course they went on making actually some Godzilla. So Tarzan, I love the Tarzan swing. That's pretty funny too. Again, it's fun little. It's like Pee Wee on the Great Movie Ride. It's quite fun.
That's a very good. Oh my god, dude. You know what? Everyone talks about like a Muppet version of the Great Movie Ride, and that'd be great. That'd be great. Don't get me wrong. But I gotta say, dragging a Pee Wee version of the Great Movie Ride would be equally fun.
Very simple. I'm just gonna very simple pitch, like not gonna give you a whole elaborate thing. Very simple.
Okay.
Pee Wee is the guy. You have someone portraying Pee Wee hijacking the tour to find his bike.
Right.
Okay. So,
I would just have it be like a Captain Rex style animatronic Pee Wee, just so we don't have to rely on someone doing an imitation.
Well, I mean, I'd be preferable. I'm just saying, if you do that, we have to work him into. I mean, basically, work him into the ride. So if you can't have him hijacked, because I don't think we're at that point. Animatronics can like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we're getting there, though. We're getting.
You're
there.
right. We are getting there.
Like, give it another 5 years or so.
Fair point. That's a fair point. Anyway, well, I mean, you're right. We have Hondo. With Hondo, we throw the rules out the book now. Well, we got Hondo, so now it's all possible. So,
well, no, I'm not even talking about Hondo. I'm talking about the stunt animatronics. But Monkey doesn't want to talk. Doesn't want us to talk too much about those, so we won't anyway.
All right, fine. Anyway, so we see some cool features on Pee Wee's bike. We have like the spare handle. We have the smoke screen, the oil slick, really cool stuff. Man, that bike really is awesome, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so point being, Pee Wee gets away with his prize, and then we have a big moment. We have a big hero moment for our dashing lead, and what does he do?
He saves a pet store.
Yes, I'm sure you were fist pumping this moment, right?
Oh yeah. Of course, my grandparents come from the pet shop industry, so a little bit of personal ties there.
Of course, it's great too. I love basically the purpose of this is we give him a big hero moment. So basically, this is why they want the movie rights later on because
exactly. Yeah.
We want the hero boys rights here. Hero boy. Sorry, wrong thing. It's Warner Brothers. It's tied to Warner Brothers though, so I'm going to let it play anyway.
Fair enough.
And of course, that Paul Reubens. I'm sure you've heard about this. Paul Reubens was dreading the snakes, and Tim Burton even tried to hold the snakes too. He just hated it. So the point being, they dreaded the snakes, and it's so ridiculous because Paul Reubens and you really look at it. They look fake anyway you slice it until they're on the ground slithering away, and even so, why do they have to make the poor man hold real snakes? I love how he saves all the fish. That's my favorite gag. He saves all the fish. Well, he says, I think there are a few more fish than there is.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So, of course, saving the snakes for last. Great gags there. And, of course,
I love how it's the act of heroism that gets him out of, like, all the property destruction. Pretty much.
All right.
All right. Oh
Then
God!
speaking of which, the solution now, Tiki is one of my.
Hold on, hold on,
Dry, yeah.
hold on. Trevor has a comment. Extraterrestrial Pee-wee encounter. Also, someone should make a Pee-wee ride using the ET vehicles where Pee-wee's just chilling out in the
there's an
baskets.
idea. Yeah, there's an
I don't
idea.
know how the
Penguin
scale on that would work. His legs, he'd have pretty long legs to just be in the basket, but we'll see. Anyways.
All right. So, anyways, of course, now we're getting to one of my other favorite parts of the movie. The ending of this movie, I think, is perfect.
Oh, it's exquisite. It's fucking perfect.
So the drive-in, my God, the
I
drive-in.
also feel like of course, the Muppet movie did this back in the day, but I feel like maybe maybe some SpongeBob movie with the framing device, with the movie premiere and everything, possibly.
Oh, yeah.
But
the drive-in is a perfect, or a movie theater in general. It's the perfect end to a road movie. For some reason, it just is.
Well, it's great because we have a chance to catch up with all the characters we met along the way and how they were positively impacted by Pee-wee, and it's just like a feel-good kind of like cavalcade of like, oh, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? You know what I mean? One of my favorite elements of it, Dragon, is the fact that like Pee-wee starts out the scene with a big handful of concessions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's giving each of them concessions.
And as he goes and goes and goes, we're just like, oh, he's gonna get to Dottie. When's he gonna get to Dottie? I love how by the time he gets to Dottie, he just has like the milk duds.
Yeah, just the milk duds and the candy. Yeah, it's like,
and of course, him and Dottie are sitting on paired Dragon
bikes.
All right.
We got to talk about the movie itself before we.
So, of course we do. Oh my God.
Okay, so Pee-wee, important. Here's the thing. I love that Pee-wee. He got his bike back, and a movie made about him. And I love the meta element to all of that. Literally, Pee-wee's Big Adventure is how the movie ends. But
right.
Then we'll recast. Of course, we got to get a little bit of fan casting in the movie. We have James Brolin, Father Thanos. Father Thanos playing Pee-wee, Herman, Morgan Fairchild playing Dottie, and of course very almost like a kind of a precursor to Stan Lee. We have Pee-wee playing himself.
Oh my God! I
playing a bellhop, giving a cameo.
As a kid, I could not get over the Pagey Mr. Herman thing, and I still can't. I still can't. It's so funny.
Oh God! And again, it's just it's a charming. It's like
Dragon. One of the things that also struck me is that I love the last image of Dottie and him riding off together on the bikes.
What gets me is the line right before that. Now, again, you're right. The last image is perfect. It's exactly what you want. But I love. I don't need this. Like, as they like frolic in the milk duds for a second, it's like, candy. They had their little moment. Also, Francis gets a proper comeuppance. We're doing anything horrible to him, but he says like, this wouldn't happen without me, Pee-wee. Well, I guess so, and he's kind of right. So he gives him the ejector seat, which is justice. So, and Dottie got to go to the drive-in. Everyone got what they wanted in the end, and that's the thing. So this is perfect moment of. Pee-wee leaves the movie early, and Dottie's like, don't you want to see the rest of the movie? I don't need to see it, Dottie. I lived it. Oh, that touches my heart.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Also, fun fact, used in Toy Story 2. It's Rex's line to Ham in Toy's like, I don't need to play the game, Ham. I lived it.
Oh, nice. I didn't even catch that.
It's so right, just seeing the shadows, as you meant, seeing the shadows of Pee-wee and Dottie riding away. And, Pee-wee, he doesn't need the glory. He thought he wanted it. He thought he wanted in the dream of the star where he's, winning the Tour de France. He doesn't want the glory. He doesn't need the glory. He got his bike back, which is what he cares about. He made friends, and the movie's over. I respect a quiet exit after a big adventure. It's very
absolutely. Well said. Yeah. All right. Monkey says, wrong Brolin, I know, but I can imagine Pee-wee is Thanos. You should have gone for the head.
That's the origin for John B.
Oh God! Oh no! All right. Okay. Final thoughts, Dragon. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts for me. Oh, I may prefer. At the end of the day, look, this is a great film. I might prefer Pee Wee's Big Holiday a skosh more. The Manganello of it all and everything's for my own enjoyment. But I cannot deny this was Pee Wee Herman's high point. This is the Blue Meth Pee Wee Herman film, no question. It's a Hall of Fame, again, the most perfected version of Pee Wee Herman. Everything firing on all cylinders, and you don't even need like the extravagant sets and everything. Just the character himself provides that. And again, the extravagant sets and Cherry and everything are nice, though. Don't be wrong; those are nice. This is a Hall of Famer road movie. It's very enjoyable. It's not just the success that allowed Paul Rubin to write his own ticket for Pee Wee's Playhouse and everything that kind of follows with that. But it was the rock that Tim Burton built his church of a career upon. This this begats 35 years of jokes that get reinterpreted in pop culture as we've been kind of relishing in with the SpongeBob and everything of it all. Jay and Silent Bob. The Strikes Back. Inspired others within the industry, and at its core, though, it's a fun movie and a showcase of Pee Wee Herman, why you like the guy, and who knew a guy looking for his bike would have such stay power. Am I right?
Absolutely. All right, final thoughts on my end. I think that, like I said, going into this, I was skeptical how much it would hold up, being as though it was Tim Burton's first film. It's it's a road movie, and road movies are usually pretty prototypical. But this movie just has such a tight pace, tight narrative. The Pee Wee character is just absolutely lovable from beginning to end. I feel like every scene is kind of iconic in its own way, with some towering benchmarks in there. And yeah, just overall, it just plays like the perfect road movie, very tightly paced. Just really, really pleasantly surprised just how well this one holds up 35 years later. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Drake, we have one more anniversary that we need to get to.
That we do.
Unfortunately, we didn't make it quite as timely because this came out February of 1995, so it's the 25th anniversary. But you know what? It's in the same year. So we're going to count it.
Yeah.
What are we talking about, Dragon, next time?
We're gonna need some brake pads, Tiki, because we're taking a trip through the life of Chris Farley in his most powerful, impactful, and self-reflective film ever made. One of the all-time great comedies, one of the all-time great road movies of the '90s. Tommy Boy.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that, folks. Should be a lot of fun. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Monkey, for commenting. Trevor, again, great to see you, dude. Great to keep in contact with you. And yeah, y'all have a good one.
Happy anniversary!
Bike.
Daddy!